Hello and welcome to this money tips video. And today's money tip is one that you've probably heard before, and that is time is money. But what does that mean to you? What does that mean in your everyday life and in your financial life as well? Well, of course, that can mean don't waste your time in whatever you do. But it is especially important when it comes to your finances. So this is one thing that I wish I would have learned when I was younger. And it's something that you can never learn too early in your life. And that is that time is money. And one good example of that is something I will demonstrate here with this compound interest calculator. Okay, many people out there are struggling financially, living paycheck to paycheck, trying to get a better job that pays more money. But a lot of them often neglect a very powerful tool, and that is having your money work for you. And one of the best ways to do that is to use compound interest. And I will try and keep this video moving along here because time is money and I don't want to waste your time. So I will show you with this compound interest calculator, which I found here on investor.gov, which you can go to and plug in your own numbers. But a good example of how time is money is, let's say that you have money to invest. And when you're trying to straighten yourself out financially, you have to come up with a budget, save up an emergency fund. That way you're not relying on credit cards, which add more interest, making you pay even more money than the initial amount you needed for the emergency. But anyway, so budget, emergency fund, and then you must try and start investing money somewhere. So let's say that you found a CD to place your money in at your bank, a certificate of deposit, and you put in, we'll say $500. And you have no monthly contribution, you just put that in, and after 1 year, your interest rate is, now it's probably possible to get a 5% interest rate. And so after $500 invested and 1 year at a 5% interest rate, your money will work for you. And after 1 year, your $500 will become $525. So that's not much, but it is $25 extra that you didn't really have to do extra work for. You just let the compound interest do the work and grow extra money for you from that initial investment. But if we go back and demonstrate how time is money, let's say you were able to do that for a 2-year CD. So $500 and then 2 years later at 5% interest. Well, then you will have $551.25. And we see that it didn't just add another $25. It compounded off of that first $25 that you earned after the first year, and you end up having a little bit more money. All right, so moving along, that still doesn't seem like much, but now we will demonstrate how compounding interest can really make a difference and why it is so important to invest as young as possible and not to wait. Or even those who are older and think, well, I'm too old to invest. Well, it's never too old. You are never too old to invest because you can always capitalize and take advantage of compound interest. So let's say you take that $500 But instead of a certificate of deposit, you put that money in some type of stock that generates a higher interest rate, but you also put $100 a month extra in that stock every month. So length of time in years, we'll say once again after, well, we'll go higher. Let's say you do this for 10 years. And the interest rate, once again, is 5%. And annually, you compound this money every year. All right, now we see in 10 years, after an initial investment of only $500 and putting $100 in every month, your initial investment will be $12,500. But with the compounding interest, you will end up having $15,907. So you will end up making about $3,400 in compounded interest. And we see as the time goes by, it starts to grow more and more. The amount that you earn off of your initial investment, the gap widens here. Okay, so before I drag this video out too long, now I will show you some incredible compounding interest and why time is money, because the longer you are able to invest, the more money you can make. So let's say you don't even put in a $500 upfront amount. Let's say you save up $100 and you just put in $100 a month, and you just do that for 30 years. And now we will put in first this 5% interest rate, and we'll calculate that. Okay, so here, your initial investment would be a total of what you contribute over that 30-year period is $36,100. But now, with 5% compounding interest, you actually have a total value of $80,000. So you end up making like $44,000 off of your $36,000 that you invested. So now we see this gap widening even further as there is more time involved. And I will show you another example here. We'll use the same $100 every month and a 30-year time frame. But now we'll use the average of the stock market over the last 100 years has been around 10%. So some years the stock market will make a lot more interest in one year. And of course, other years it will be negative. But the overall average has been around 10%, maybe higher or lower, but somewhere close to that in the last 100 years. So we will go with 10% and take a look at this now. So now this is incredible. We see the longer the money is invested, it starts to skyrocket. So your initial total contributions, once again, are $36,100. But now your future total value is almost $200,000. So this is just incredible and a perfect example of how compounding interest can really show you that time is money. The longer you invest, the more you'll make, and the higher the interest rate, the more you'll make, of course. So I'll show you another example here just to highlight how important this is to start early and invest regularly over a long period of time. Let's see here. So we'll use this 10% interest rate, but now let's say you are able to put away $500 a month. So $500 a month every year, or excuse me, $500 a month regularly for 30 years. And now with 10% annually from the stock market, your stocks will grow to almost $1 million in 30 years. So just another reason to start investing as soon as you can, as much as you can. So the more money you can put away, the larger and faster that interest will compound. And here we see after 30 years, you will have put in $180,500, and the future value of that money will be worth almost $1 million, so $995,000. So this is just incredible and highlights why everyone should be investing, putting some money in investments, especially the stock market. If you can get a higher return. Now, I'm not a financial expert, so I would like to say that these are my opinions, what I've learned over 30 years of trying to figure out how to make ends meet, how to improve myself financially. So just keep this in mind. This is a perfect example of regular investing every month over a long period of time, especially if you can get a higher interest rate. Now, this might be difficult these days, although the stock market this year has returned higher than 10%, I believe. So there are years where you can make more than 10%, but then there will be negative years, but they seem to average out at 10%, give or take. They might be a little higher or a little bit lower, depending on what 30-year period you're able to invest in. All right, well, I better wrap this up because your time is one of your most valuable resources. Some people may say, well, I'm too old to invest. Well, I would argue that you're never too old to invest because anytime you invest some money and allow that compounding interest to work for you, that is basically earning free money with not doing very much. You just have to earn that initial amount of money that you're able to invest. But then the compounding interest works for you after that. And so you're never too old to invest, never too young, especially young people out there. I would highly recommend that you try to invest as at a youngest age as possible, just to get in the habit of saving and investing, and more importantly, to allow time and compounding interest to work for you over a longer period, because we see how this amount of money, it starts out slowly, but the longer the time period, the more it starts to skyrocket upward. All right, well, I will wrap up this video today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Feel free to leave comments or suggestions. And remember, time is money. You're never too old to invest. And start young. All you young people out there, try not to blow all your money, and try to save and invest and let compounding interest work for you. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.